Hey bitches, so I wanted to do a concert review, because usually when I see a concert, I like to give my thoughts on the bands or just the atmosphere of the tour to give you guys a good impression of if you should see the bands. And today I'm going to be talking about a tour that I saw with Sanguisugabogg, Crown Vic, Agency, and Jarhead Fertilizer. Now, it is as fucking loud and as heavy as you might imagine, and I just wanted to give a shout out to some of the local bands. Agency was hellish, they were noisy, they were sort of like this power violence band, and then Jarhead Fertilizer are actually an offshoot of Full of Hell, if I remember correctly, obviously with a lot of military attitude, military imagery. The straps of their guitars were like bullets. It was really fucking cool. They look like guns. And then Crown Vic was a band I was really happy to see. They are actually from my home state of West Virginia, and I ended up buying some merch from them. They are fantastic. They're this doomy, sludgy band. They are murky. They're like quagmire. And then, of course, the biggest band of the night, the one most people were there to see, Sanguisugabogg. And, you know, I don't know what I expected stepping into it, because Sanguisugabogg have a certain vibe, they have a certain audience, they have a certain sound, and I think most people assume that if you listen to them, they are very, like, no shits given, no fucks given, and quite literally, it's exactly what you might think, and then some. They had this thing that they do, and I ended up researching this. This is something they do at every show, so be ready for it. They basically said that if the first person to bleed in the pit gets a free shirt, and if you break something, you get two. And let me just say, people were trying. People were going up to the stage with fucking busted foreheads and were pretty much like, where's my fucking shirt? It was a lot, and almost every track they were like, murder someone, kill the person next to you, and I was like, holy shit. This was at a local place. There was probably about like 400 or 500 people there, and the pit was insane. And I think Sanguisugabogg, and just a concert like this in general, which I guess you could say this about any concert, but specifically this type of concert, you need audience participation. And Sanguisugabogg commanded that audience like none of the other bands. Like, no offense to the other bands, but they are genuinely, you can tell that they are professionals in the sense of they have a rhythm, they know what they're gonna do, they know what they're gonna say, and they live up to that expectation. The sound design was great, and that's obviously gonna vary based on where you are, but Sanguisugabogg has a fantastic sound live. It is buzzsawy, and to anyone that has been critical of Sanguisugabogg in the past, which I'm part of that list, I have actually said when they first burst on the scene that I thought they were a little bit basic, that I thought they were getting a lot more hype than they necessarily deserved. And I think that the production on their albums and just the way that their albums come across can sometimes not do justice to how heavy it sounds. And oh my lord, it is so heavy live. It is so heavy. And I hate to be the person that calls it brutal, but there's also a lot of intelligence and technicality that you find when you see it live. The drum work is like an octopus. The riff work is so quick, it's so twisted up, and it is surprisingly catchy live. The dual vocals are great. They really work well together, and like I said, the energy is bombastic, and the fact that they're probably doing this at every single show is amazing, because, you know, all the other bands, I loved seeing them live, especially Crown Vic. I really enjoyed seeing them, but Sanguisugabogg came out and they just fucking dominated that place. They just came out and they did their thing and they sounded amazing. And just to give like some shout outs to the other bands a little bit more, Crown Vic gives you what you would expect from like a down-tempo, sludgy, murky doom metal band, very slow-paced riffs, but also having like a lot of resonance, a lot of feedback, a lot of distortion. Agency was the first band to play. The lead vocalist actually got off the stage and was performing like right down center in front of everyone, and obviously this was before a lot of people were there and a lot of people were like interested, because not many people knew about Agency, but like I said, just very power violence-ish, like think kind of Nails-ish, like Nails sound, like distorted, heavy, feedback, quick, grindcore-inspired, screeched, like wailing vocals, like very throaty screams. And then Jarhead Fertilizer is kind of very similar to what you would imagine from like Full of Hell, but a little bit softer. They're still very heavy, but still have that feedback, still have that distortion. It was interesting because the three bands that came before Sanguisugabogg were all very distorted, noisy, feedback-laden, whereas Sanguisugabogg was more kind of chunky and meaty is the way that I would describe it. But Jarhead Fertilizer played into their theme a lot. They had samples in their music at the start of stuff. It was like gunshots and war like things. Like it was really cool. I did like it. But Sanguisugabogg was obviously the one that people were there to see and talk about and hear. And I would highly recommend seeing any of these bands and supporting them. I will put links to all of the bands down in the description box below. Highly suggest going to tours because I think all of these bands are worth seeing. I really enjoyed seeing all of them. And have you seen any of them live yourself? And if so, what were your experiences with them? You can let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. But otherwise, be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to join the review family today and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.